Joining me here now in advance of Monday Night Football, taking on the Indianapolis Colts, is one of the best in the business, and he is from the Pittsburgh Steelers, perennial Pro Bowler and All-Pro, TJ Watt. How you doing, TJ?
I'm doing good. I'm just happy to be here.
And I'm glad that you are here as well. How would you categorize this year for you, TJ?
Uh, Not where I want to be, not where we want to be. It's been tough. Obviously, we got off to a hot start in week one, and then personally, I went out and was out for a couple weeks and went through my own battles with getting back to being healthy, and went through the roller coaster of coming back against the Saints, having a win, and then obviously the unacceptable win last week. So it's kind of been a bit of a roller coaster and a lot more downs than ups as of lately.
What is it like for you to not be active? It must drive you nuts.
Yeah, it sure does. I mean, especially when you're out for such a extended period of time, it's not like you just have like 2 weeks out where you can be upbeat and positive the whole time, saying I'm going to be back soon. It was more of the first couple weeks you're just trying to diagnose the problem and get as many answers as you can, talk to as many doctors as possible, and then from there you're kind of just slowly rehabbing and taking your time, trying to help the team as much as possible without stepping on too many toes.
And so, what role did you take in the locker room while you're getting ready? Do you talk to the guys, or I know a lot of guys when they're injured and rehabbing, it's just a difficult process to even be part of the mix, you know?
Yeah, I kind of went through it all. I tried to. I didn't want to be a coach, but I wanted to help out the young guys as much as possible. But I also know that it's hard to put your hand in the pile and help guys when you're not physically strapping up and putting on a helmet. So you kind of have to play a balance of, I don't want to tell guys how I would do it because obviously there's multiple ways to do it. So it was just a matter of when I came back, those last like 2 or 3 weeks before I actually came back, I wanted to show my commitment and that I was doing everything possible. That was super important to me, was to let the guys know that I wasn't just happy to be here and be out. I was upset about the situation of me being injured. I wasn't just taking my time with this thing. I was pushing as hard as I could so that when I came back, I had the respect of my teammates and coaches.
And so, what is the general sense in that locker room right now? What can you tell the Steelers nation entering this Week 12 Monday night game with enough time left to make some hay? What is the general sense there,
Yeah,
TJ?
it's got to have it. And I think I mean, as cliche as it is, you got to win every game in the NFL. You're not expected to, but we're at a point right now where our back is against the back wall. I mean, we need to get production. I think that starts defensively and just getting back to playing Pittsburgh Steeler football in terms of stopping the run and creating turnovers. That's just an area where we've been able to emphasize, where we're not creating those splash turnovers and sacks and negative plays like we have in years past.
Well, I mean, you want to talk about splash turnovers, TJ Watt? You sure had a splash takeaway. Against Cincinnati. I've never seen anything like that. I would say walk me through that play, but it took literally a split second when you just jumped in the air and Burrow was throwing, and you snagged it. I can't believe you caught that. What happened there on that one?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it's just, I mean, in week one, it was just, I was being chipped or it was a slow rush. So you just kind of get your eyes up and look through the tackle at the quarterback as he rush. And you can kind of see him rise up. And as he rises up, it's off of formational clues and everything, kind of if it's going to be quick rhythm passing or not. And you just throw your hands up. And I've done it many times over the years in practice where I've caught them. Sometimes clean, sometimes you bat them up to yourself. But I've just grown more closer, like getting my hands tighter as opposed to wider, and sometimes they just stick. It was weird. I was wearing leather gloves, so I wasn't even wearing the sticky ones, which is wild.
Did you see Burrow's reaction? I don't know if you saw it
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah. We had a nice little chat afterwards, and
What'd he say?
he was just like, what am I doing? And I was like, I don't know. I don't think it's anything you're doing. I'm just like putting my hands up and it's somehow sticking.
Yeah, he kind of like got like this look on his face, like I can't, where his whole body went limp, like I can't believe that just happened. Yeah, I definitely wanted to ask you about that. And then more positive, just from my own sitting on the couch and watching, it looks like Kenny Pickett has it. What can you tell me about this rookie quarterback from your perspective, TJ?
Yeah, he's got some moxie, he's got some swag. I think just the way that he plays, he's a go-getter. He's going to take chances, and I think that's all you can ask for as a defensive player. And He doesn't want to just dink and dunk down the field. He wants to take those chances. It's so important at this level to be able to get those chunk plays and to take those shots. And yes, there's been some negative plays, but everybody understands that that's what comes with being in the NFL. There is a learning curve, no doubt about it. But it's all about how you get back up and how you respond. And everything that I've seen from that I've heard from the offensive guys is that Kenny is a guy that you want to play for.
Well, I mean, and he's also got the issue of following in the footsteps of somebody who did it for a decade and a half with a couple trophies in the case. How has he handled that from your
Oh
seat?
well, I mean, the NFL is such a humbling business. It really is. You can never get too high. You can never get too low. You can't listen to the wrong people and always in the media and stuff. You have to know who you are and you have to be comfortable with who you are. And that's the cool thing about Kenny is I haven't seen him change up with success that he's had, with any of the failures that he's had. He's maintained the same guy. And I think that talks to the locker room. And I mean, guys can see through if you're being fake or not. I don't see that in Kenny.
And how about your coach and Coach Tomlin? So much is made about him never having had a losing record. So clearly being 3-7 is not something he is used to as well. How has he been over the last several weeks from your
Yeah,
perspective,
I mean,
TJ?
like I said before, no one's satisfied with where we're at. But I mean, we still have a lot of football ahead of us and we can control it. So it's all about what we do. It's all about execution, believing in the game plan. And Coach T's never going to switch up. He's never going to go one way or the other. I mean, he's always very constant through all the ups and the downs. So it's not like he's being someone that we haven't seen in the successful seasons that we've had here.
Then obviously, if you want to talk about differences in coaching or different spots in a career in coaching, you've got Mike Tomlin, one of the most tenured coaches in the National Football League. And then you've got Jeff Saturday, who is an interim head coach who probably had no idea 3 weeks ago he was even on any radar screen. What is your challenge going against the Indianapolis Colts and a coaching staff that clearly there's not much film on? You definitely know Matt Ryan and know Jonathan Taylor, but I'm wondering what you're seeing and expecting this week, TJ.
Yeah, you kind of said it with the film thing. It's you can really only watch the last couple of weeks of film, so you don't have a full catalog of what types of plays they like to run and things like that. So some of those are unknowns or just small sample sizes. Otherwise, I mean, we know he's an offensive line guy, so he's going to want to run the ball, and that's shown in the last 2 games that they've had. I think Jonathan Taylor's had over like 20 carries in the last 2 games, and he's an elusive back, a great back. And then obviously Matt Ryan is a guy who, as a leadership role, you can tell that the team has gotten behind him, and he's able to move the ball. Can still get around in the pocket well. They do some rollouts. Even though he's getting up there in age, I think he's still everything above the neck is great. And it's not a cakewalk. No game in the NFL is a cakewalk. I think it'd be a tough challenge for us.
And then it wraps up a Thanksgiving weekend. You and I are talking on Thanksgiving Day. You're fresh off of your practice. I'm fresh off of NFL Network, which is why I'm in this white button down. So what is your go-to? What's the TJ Watt Thanksgiving go-to?
It's more what isn't the go-to, you know. I think the only thing that's off the list is like cranberry sauce, whatever that stuff is. Everything else, I'm pretty game. I mean, as far as stuffing, green bean casserole, cheesy potatoes, turkey, gravy,
Damn,
everything. You pass out and you do it all again.
they're all starters. Nothing's on the bench. Is what you're saying?
Nothing's on the bench. Everybody's
Okay, got to have your head on a swivel if you're on TJ Watt's Thanksgiving dinner table. And what were the Thanksgiving games like in the Watt household growing up? What was that like?
We definitely had a turkey bowl. We would always go out to my aunt and uncle up in Appleton, Wisconsin. And I mean, there was a lot of snowy Christmases where, I mean, Uncle Bill would be out there with a polo shirt, short sleeve, and snow, and we'd be tossing the rock around. And those are just such great memories. All 5 of us packed in the car up in the minivan going up north for Thanksgiving, starting Christmas music, playing in the turkey bowl, spending quality time with the family, watching football every hour of the day. And I remember JJ he played in, what was it, in Detroit. I think it was like when I was young. I mean, it was probably first 5 years in the NFL, and he had a couple sacks. I just those memories I'll have forever. And it's so cool that we got to be those kids that grew up watching on Thursday, and then we've been so grateful to be able to play on those Thursdays too. So it's crazy how life comes full circle that way.
It is. Who was the most dominant Watt in the Turkey Bowl, though? Who was the most dominant? What do you got?
I think I was the most versatile. I could play lockdown corner. I could play a little receiver. If you need me to pop back at quarterback, I could do that too. So JJ was too old and too cool to hang around. So probably had the longest career in the Turkey Bowl.
I like it. Very good. Longevity is very important. It's very, very important. So last one for you, TJ Watt. What is your message to the Steelers faithful who are everywhere and every nook and cranny on the planet going into week 12? What is your message to them? What do you got?
Oh, we understand where we're at. We're not over here patting ourselves on the back or taking things lightly. I think, like I say, this is more than just a job to us. This is what we love to do, and none of us are satisfied. We're going to continue to turn over every rock that we can to make this right. And there's still a lot of football left to be played, and it's all about taking it one day at a time, one game at a time, and we're not giving up by any stretch of the means.
TJ Watt, thanks for the chat. Thanks for the Zoom. Have a great Thanksgiving, and look forward to seeing you on Monday Night Football, and more success to you and your family.
Thank you. Have a great Thanksgiving.
You bet. That's TJ Watt right here on the Rich Eisen Show, and getting ready for Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.